For weeks, Oscar Piastri has looked untouchable, calm, composed, and leading the drivers' standings with the confidence of a future champion. But in Baku, the unthinkable happened. A disastrous crash in both qualifying and the race left the Australian shaken, his once perfect aura showing cracks at the worst possible moment. And now, with Singapore looming, a track as unforgiving as it is iconic, the world waits to see if Piastri can rise again, or whether Max Verstappen's relentless charge will finally drag him into the fire of a true title fight. Andrea Stella, Mclaren's team principal, has tried to calm the storm, drawing parallels between Piastri's nightmare in Azerbaijan and the struggle even Michael Schumacher faced in his most dominant years. Yet this reassurance comes at a time when the pressure has never been higher. Norris is only 25 points behind. Verstappen has clawed his way back into contention with back-to-back victories, and critics are questioning whether McLaren should already sacrifice Norris to back Piastri's title push. This is no longer just a test of speed. It's a test of psychology, strategy, and survival. If you're following this historic battle for the 2025 World Championship, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because what's unfolding could define the next era of Formula One. The Singapore Grand Prix has often been described as Formula One's ultimate crucible. Drivers call it the most exhausting race on the calendar. Mentally suffocating, physically draining, and strategically unpredictable. Unlike the wide-open tracks of Europe, Marina Bay offers no margin for error. The walls are close, the corners unforgiving, and the relentless heat and humidity, even under floodlights, test every fibre of endurance. For Oscar Piastri, this is the stage where his resilience will be questioned like never before. After his disastrous weekend in Baku, the Australian has found himself in a spotlight he never wanted. Crashing out in both qualifying and the race not only cost him valuable points, but also shattered the aura of invincibility he had built since the start of the 2025 season. Piastri had been hailed as the calm, precise operator, the Iceman 2.0, some said. Yet in one weekend he looked more like a rookie under pressure. Critics pounced, rivals sensed blood, and suddenly the man leading the World Championship appeared vulnerable. Andrea Stella, McLaren's team principal, has gone on the offensive to defend his young star. His comparison of Piastri to Michael Schumacher was no throwaway remark. Stella wanted to frame the Baku debacle not as a sign of weakness, but as a rite of passage. Even Schumacher, the 7-time world champion, endured weekends when nothing seemed to click. The message was clear: champions are not defined by their perfect races, but by how they recover from disaster. Piastri, according to Stella, is no different. But reassurance alone will not win championships. The numbers tell a different story. Piastri may still lead the standings by 25 points over Norris and 69 over Verstappen, but the trend is alarming. Verstappen, who looked to be out of the title picture mid-season, has stormed back into contention with consecutive victories in Monza and Baku. His Red Bull machine has rediscovered pace, his racecraft remains razor-sharp, and with 7 rounds left, he can smell opportunity. McLaren's nightmare scenario is unfolding. 2 drivers fighting each other while Verstappen claws his way back into the title hunt. Zak Brown, McLaren's CEO, has doubled down on the team's policy. No team orders, no favoritism, no number 1 driver. Both Piastri and Norris will continue to fight freely with equal treatment until the end of the season. On paper, it's a noble approach, sporting, fair, and true to McLaren's tradition. But the harsh reality of Formula One is unforgiving. Championships are rarely won by playing fair. They are won by decisive, sometimes ruthless calls. That's where the criticism has come in. Former Haas boss Gunther Steiner has not minced his words. In his view, McLaren is flirting with disaster by refusing to back Piastri now. If they don't, and they lose the championship because of it, how stupid would that be? Steiner argued. Stance echoes the voices of many seasoned paddock observers who believe that in moments like this, a team must be pragmatic. Ferrari in 2010 and Mercedes in 2016 serve as cautionary tales. Indecision or the pursuit of fairness can cost everything. And then there's the psychological battlefield. Juan Pablo Montoya has suggested that Piastri is starting to feel the pressure, pointing to signs of frustration and lapses in composure. For a driver previously compared to Kimi Raikkonen for his stoic calm, the idea of him losing his temper is a dangerous shift. Once the veneer of unshakable confidence begins to crack, rivals will exploit it mercilessly. Jolyon Palmer has added another layer of concern, warning that Singapore's street circuit characteristics, tight walls, inconsistent grip, high punishment for even the smallest misjudgment, could see Piastri repeat his Baku errors. If that happens, his championship lead could evaporate overnight. Meanwhile, Norris finds himself in a delicate position. Long regarded as McLaren's golden child, he now plays the role of hunter rather than leader. At 25 points adrift, Norris is close enough to believe in his own title chances, but not dominant enough to command team backing. This creates a dangerous dynamic. If McLaren eventually decide to put all their weight behind Piastri, Norris could feel betrayed. If they continue with neutrality, they risk splitting points between their drivers and handing Verstappen a golden opportunity. The tension is real, and the potential for fractures within the team is enormous. For Verstappen, however, this is a dream scenario. He doesn't need to beat McLaren on raw pace every weekend. He just needs them to keep tripping over each other. Every time Piastri and Norris battle, every time McLaren hesitates on strategy, Verstappen inches closer. He knows how to play the long game. The Dutchman has been here before. In 2021, when his battle with Lewis Hamilton went to the final lap of the final race. He thrives in chaos, and with Red Bull's pace resurging, he is the most dangerous predator in the paddock right now. The stakes heading into Singapore could not be higher. If Piastri wins, he silences the critics, re-establishes control of the championship, and puts pressure back on Norris and Verstappen. If Norris triumphs, McLaren's internal rivalry ignites into all-out war, forcing Zak Brown into the toughest decision of his career. And if Verstappen emerges victorious once again, the nightmare scenario becomes reality. McLaren's lead collapses, the championship transforms into a three-way knife fight, and Verstappen suddenly becomes the favourite with momentum on his side. History suggests that Singapore often decides the tone for the closing stretch of the season. In 2017, Sebastian Vettel crashed out at the start, handing Hamilton the momentum to secure the championship. In 2015, Ferrari shocked Mercedes with a rare victory that reignited the title conversation. Could 2025 be remembered as the year when McLaren's title dreams began to unravel, or the year Piastri truly announced himself as a Schumacher-level great by conquering adversity? One thing is certain, the Marina Bay circuit will not forgive mistakes. Every lap will be a test of nerve, every pit strategy a gamble, and every driver error a potential title-deciding catastrophe. For Piastri, Norris and Verstappen, the next 2 hours under the Singapore floodlights could define not just their seasons, but their careers. So what should McLaren do? Stick to equality and risk Verstappen stealing it all, or gamble everything on Piastri now before it's too late? And more importantly, do you think Piastri has the mentality of a Schumacher? Or will Singapore expose a fatal weakness in his armour? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.